That's terrible. That's ruining America. A kid could see you dressed like that, and what might that do to them?
JD Vance, Donald Trump's vice presidential running mate, can't seem to catch a break. People are still talking about his childless cat lady comments, and now some interesting photos have surfaced of JD Vance in his college days. John Iadarola and Francesca Fiorentini of The Damage Report broke all this down. Check this out.
JD Vance appears to be the gift that keeps on giving, not to Donald Trump, who surely regrets choosing him, but for us, because JD Vance, a guy who is part of the right-wing war against the LGBTQ community, oh, what do you know, is another one of the right-wingers that did drag back in the day. And you can see an image of him right there doing some kind of drag. He's got a wig. I think he's wearing a skirt or a dress or something like that. I don't know what he's going for there, some sort of costume. It's not great, but it does exist and nobody's surprised by it. By the way, a spokesperson for him did not deny the photo's authenticity and did not offer any further comment. By the way, nobody on their team is denying it. You know why they're not denying it? Because it's real. It's a real thing that happened. Actually, the sources spoke on social media. Travis Whitfield says, "Hi, Matt. I was the source of the photo sent through friends to you, to Matt, who originally posted it. This was taken in 2012, the same time I was at Yale. Photo was taken by a classmate and sent to me, and it's from a group chat of Vance's fellow classmates, grabbed from Facebook, taken at a Halloween party. And the fun part of this is the names that people, I see Hoobie and Scarf Dragon in the chat coming up with one of the names. People created drag names for Vance, including Sofa Loren, Anita Couch, Ashley Furniture, Rhea Kleiner, and Hillbilly Ella Gigi. Which I kind of like that one, actually. Ashley Furniture is pretty good. And so why is this a thing that people would mock? Obviously, we're not mocking him for doing drag. Many, many people have for a very long time, and there's nothing wrong with it. But that's kind of the problem. He's one of those who would be like, that's terrible. That's ruining America. A kid could see you dressed like that, and what might that do to them? And then if any right-wingers would comment on this, and they're gonna do everything they can to not, although he's going to have sit-down interviews. If they wanna ask him about it, they will, is their honest response would be, he was just having fun. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? Just fun. It's an art. It's a thing that people do. It's a way to express yourself. JD Vance expressed himself in that way. Madison, what's his face, did too.
Hawthorne.
Lots of them do. Yes, exactly. And George Santos and a lot of them. It's just a thing that virtually all of these right wingers did. Any one of them that was in a frat has done this, and they don't consider it to have been an affront to America's children. And yet they would have you believe that anyone else doing it should probably be locked up and maybe stripped of their citizenship.
Yeah, ugly cis white guys can do drag whenever they want, poorly, for some dumb Halloween costume. That's totally fine. It's when you happen to be part of the queer community and you do drag in such a beautiful effing way that you get to be on Drag Race and RuPaul showers you with money. It's when your beat is fly. It's when your hair is incredible. It's when you made your own outfit. That's the drag they have a problem with. So
in the whole scheme of things, JD Vance having dressed up as a woman for Halloween when he was in college is not really that big of a deal. But on the heels of all the other, basically every day, it's been bad news for Donald Trump with this pick of JD Vance, because, you know, you had the couch thing, which is fake, but people keep going with it. And JD Vance seems to be dogged by that. You had the childless cat lady stuff that he keeps trying to walk back, but that's sticking to him. And then when you have something like this after all of that, a guy who's already the least popular, according to the opinion polls, according to the polls, the least popular vice presidential candidate in decades, Donald Trump has got to be sweating this and feeling like JD Vance was a bad choice. So is it the end of the world that JD Vance dressed up in drag for Halloween? No, it is. I'd like to know in the comments, how many guys did you dress up in drag for Halloween? Is that a common thing that guys, and I wasn't in a frat in college, so I didn't really experience this, but is that a common thing that guys in college were doing?
Okay, in other words, they have a problem with good drag. That's really what it is. But like, this is, I don't know. I'm wondering like where the spin is. I don't know what the necklace is. Like, I feel like he could also be like one of the singers from Whitesnake, the band back in the day. Like, what is he going for here? Try harder, whatever it is. At least Rudy Giuliani did the tuck.
That's true. Yeah. Oh my God. You reminded me of that. I don't know about that. I don't want to. And Trump is sniffing his neck and getting up on him because again, it's just a fun thing when they do it, but when someone else does it, we should probably ban that with the force of the federal government.
So I think John Iadarola and Francesca here are correct about this. This is not really that big of a deal, but there seem to be a lot of Republicans who have dressed in drag. Like they bring up Rudy Giuliani with that really weird thing where he dressed in drag with Donald Trump, which was very, very strange. But also the fact that the Republican Party talks so much about drag queens and men dressed in drag as being this horrible blight on our society. And then these pictures keep coming out of guys like JD Vance dressed in drag. It definitely comes off hypocritical. But what do you think? Do you agree with John Iadarola and Francesca Fiorentini here that this is hypocritical of JD Vance and the Republican Party? Or was this just JD Vance, a college kid having fun, and this is much ado about nothing? Again, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but just in the whole scope of things with this election cycle where it's one crazy, just every day is a new crazy story. And especially with JD Vance, this guy cannot seem to escape controversy. And with Donald Trump, who loves the focus to be on him, I'm sure he's not happy that all of this bad news, quote unquote, continually comes out about JD Vance. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel. If you want to see more content like this, this is Chris on Culture. I'll see you in the next one.